Hi, this is Nate from ZeldaInformer.com here with Videocast number 5. It's technically Videocast number 6. Apparently I can't count as we had two Videocast number 3s. Oh well. So, Videocast number 5. Today I want to talk to you guys actually about an article that I released in this past week called Zelda is in decline, or is Zelda in decline? You can actually check out that article if you're on our YouTube page at ZeldaInformer.com. You can just type in the little search thing or click on the featured box at the top of the site. It'll literally say, is Zelda in decline? You could type that in the search box. It'll pop up for you. So we're going to talk about that article today, and then I'm just going to talk to you about some upcoming things at the site and a few other exciting tidbits. So first off, thank you for the support for my last article. Because of you guys, it actually got featured on the front page of the gaming section on dig.com. That's the fourth time now that we've done that. Last time was for an article that Dathan Bakabel wrote called New Generation Zelda. And then prior to that was The Building Blocks of Twilight Princess, which I believe was written by Phil Stetson. I could be wrong. I can't remember exactly. And then the time before that was The Message of Majora's Mask, which I'm sure all of you have read by now, and if you haven't, you can find it on our website under the Majora's Mask section, or you can type it in Google, it'll pop up right away. So this is the fourth time it's happened, so it's the first time for one of my articles, so thank you. It also got really good support at places like Go Nintendo. They sent us actually a lot of traffic for it. So did sites like N4G.com, which is kind of like a gamer's dig. So actually, thank everyone for the support. So the actual article, there's been a really big contrast in responses. The responses on the actual site have been pretty positive. In general, it seems like a lot of you guys agreed with what I had to say. Now, for those of you who haven't read it yet, don't know what I'm talking about, Zelda in Decline, or is Zelda in Decline, the piece went over the whole series in the past decade, and how a lot of people feel that it needs a major change. I've said it myself that it needs a change, and even specify what changes I would like to see. The question was if the series is really in decline or not. This was based off another article that was written at The Cartel that talked about Spirit Tracks, and it literally said in the article that Zelda is in decline, like definitively in decline. You cannot, you cannot dispute the evidence. I linked it all to Ocarina of Time. A lot of people compare every single game that comes out, whether it's 2D, 3D, whatever, to Ocarina of Time. Is it better than Ocarina of Time? And if it's not better than Ocarina of Time, then obviously we're declining. First off, the whole debate on what is and what is not better than Ocarina of Time. Nothing is going to be, at least in the foreseeable future, what Ocarina of Time was in terms of what it did for the gaming industry. So I think we need to separate Ocarina of Time as a game from the impact of Ocarina of Time. The impact of Ocarina of Time is going to keep it at the top of those all-time gaming lists, probably for the rest of the history of mankind. But the question is, what do you do about the games that have come out since Ocarina of Time? A lot of people say like one big complaint about Twilight Princess, outside of it being too easy, was the overworld and how it seems too dead. There's not a lot of stuff going on, not a lot of stuff to find. But then you think back to Ocarina of Time. Its overworld, especially during the day, I can't stress this enough. During the daytime, there wasn't much going on. There was a few big poses you could find here and there, and a couple hidden treasures. Pretty much just like in Twilight Princess. It just didn't look as good. And there wasn't horseback combat outside of shooting arrows. So that's kind of an added addition that Ocarina of Time has. Or, I mean, that Twilight Princess has. So, in terms of the overworld, Twilight Princess overworld, at least to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people out there, if you think about it logically, is actually better than Ocarina of Time's overworld. So take that for what you will. So when it comes to everything else, I think the controls overall are tighter now than they were back then. I even think Majora's Mask controls, which were the exact same controls that Ocarina of Time had, actually were tighter, more responsive, and that's what happens, over time. This when you use the same control scheme over and over and over again, it just gets better and better over time. Uh, so then, like games like the Wind Waker, I think the Wind Waker was better than Ocarina of Time. Uh, I know that some of you guys are not going to like me saying that, just like you guys don't like me saying that Twilight Princess is better than Ocarina of Time. But if you look at what Ocarina of Time was as a game, the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were everything that Ocarina of Time was, plus something else. Uh, like the Wind Waker was everything Ocarina of Time was, but a new art direction and sailing. Go figure. Plus, there was the whole combat system, which was a little different since you had the counter moves. Uh, Twilight Princess is often argued to be, Ocarina of Time 2.0. Well, it's 2.0, sure, and usually newer is better. It had horseback combat. It had the special finishing moves. Um, just a lot of stuff. I think the boss fights in general felt more epic, though whether or not they were more epic, debatable. The one thing Ocarina of Time did have that, especially over Twilight Princess, is magic. That's a debate for another time. But, anyways, it all broke down to the Zelda series itself hasn't changed a lot since Ocarina of Time. It really hasn't changed much since A Link to the Past. But the the thing was is that Zelda really isn't in a decline. It's more so that us as gamers, we have changed. Um, I don't find Mario, as an example, as entertaining as I used to, even though the games are still great. And like when I was playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii, it was just as fun to me as playing New Super Mario Bros. 3. However, it's not as fun as it was back when I was younger. And that's not because the game's bad. It's just because I've grown up and I have different tastes now. Example, I'm actually downloading, right now as I'm recording this, Assassin's Creed 2 for the PC. And I know it's a lot of drama with the DRM. I'm not going to get into it. This is a Zelda cast. But the point is that my tastes have changed. 10 years ago, I wouldn't even want to play a game like Assassin's Creed. Now, that's the type of game that I like. Does that mean that I don't like Zelda? No. I thought Twilight Princess was great. Maybe a little overrated, definitely way overhyped. So, that's just my take on things, that we as gamers have changed and we're upset that Zelda didn't kind of grow up with us. Nintendo keeps wanting to aim Zelda at the same crowd it's always aimed it at, which is about the middle teens, I think, is about the age group that they aim it at. At least that's what it feels like to me. And they always add a little something to keep us veteran gamers interested. Especially like in Spirit Tracks, they added a lot of nostalgia moments to previous games. Even little things like having Linebeck the Third in there from Phantom Hourglass, the original Linebeck, or the Tingle statue. They just added a lot of just a lot of things to keep us interested. So I don't think that Zelda is in decline. I know a lot of people at other sites like Dig and M4G really thought that they read the title and they're like, oh, geez, he's saying Zelda's bad, Zelda's in decline. A Zelda site complaining about Zelda. Well, one, we will complain about Zelda. We have complained about Zelda, and we'll probably continue to complain about Zelda. Because if nobody's complaining, nothing gets done, to change and innovate the series, because nobody's asking the series to change and to innovate. But I was just saying that I think us as gamers have changed, and some of us aren't going to be. Zelda's just not going to be for some of us as much as it was before. I still like Zelda. I still enjoy Zelda. It's still probably my favorite franchise out there. But I think for a lot of other people, I think maybe you've kind of outgrown Zelda. Not that you don't still enjoy Zelda, but now you want Zelda to be what it's not. Like I've heard people say they want it to be like Oblivion, like Fallout. I don't know. I've heard people say they want it to be like Uncharted. That's great, But if it was like those games, then it's not Zelda anymore. And that's really that with that debate. A few other things. I'm going to actually be doing a mailbag aspect to this weekly video cast. So feel free to send your mailbag stuff, your questions about Zelda, Nintendo, about me personally, to Nathan at zeldainformer.com. You can see it right in this area. And we also going to have a few other things coming up, like we're going to be allowing members to soon enough be able to register at the main site, and doing that's going to allow you to have your own blog on the site, along with some other neat features that we're working in, such as music download capabilities as we open up our music section, and all that great jazz. So that's actually all I have for you this week, and tune in next time.